A 9 to 5 is really as bad as we're led to believe. Is starting your own business the only way to get ahead in the modern age? Hi guys, and welcome to Prestige Principles. Today we're going to be discussing the pros and cons of your typical 9 to 5 full-time job. I feel as though the 9 to 5 has been made out to be this inevitable trap that can't be escaped and has a very negative stigma surrounding it in the year 2026. So I thought I'd lay out some of the positives and negatives in an effort to help some of you who may be entering the workforce. Or maybe you're already working and aren't quite sure if it's right for you. So let's start off with the cons. Cons number one, lack of freedom. You have to be at work at a certain time every day, often facing scrutiny if you're late or even for calling in sick. You're expected to work for at least 8 hours. Maybe you'll get a half an hour lunch break. Some jobs may offer an hour, but in my experience, it's usually only half an hour. You basically have to ask for permission to have time off and then wait for it to be approved, if it gets approved. All these things can lead to an overwhelming feeling of being trapped, like your freedom has been stripped away from you and you're not in charge in a large aspect of your life. This, I would say, is one of, if not the biggest negatives of a 9 to 5, and can be the one most people struggle with. Con number two is money. Your earning potential is capped. Yes, you can earn a little bit more with pay rises, overtime, and bonuses, but at the end of the day, you're exchanging your time for money, and you only have so much time in the day. So the money you bring home each day can only get so high for the effort you're using to get it. Now, this can be a bit different if you work in sales when commission comes into play, but for most people, I feel like that's not the case. Compared to owning your own business where your earning potential can be pretty much unlimited depending on how much work you put in, this can be a major downfall of the 9 to 5. Con number three, high pressure and stress. Some jobs can be very high pressure when it comes to meeting productivity, expectations, or deadlines. And this usually results in people taking work home with them. In a mental sense, where you come home and you're not working anymore, but everything going on back at your job is still going through your brain. And you can't really switch off. Or in a physical sense, where you actually bring home work with you to try and keep up with his exceedingly high expectations. This can lead to severe mental health effects and feelings of never being able to keep up with demand. Con number three, false sense of security. I feel like it used to be if you show loyalty to a company, you would feel very secure in that role. But I think there's been a shift in recent years where no matter how loyal you are, how dedicated of a work you are, no matter how hard you work, if there's a big downturn in your industry, then you could just be gone at the drop of the hat, out on your ass, looking for a job with little to no warning, which obviously can have detrimental effects. A sudden halt of all your income that can leave bills unpaid and a need to borrow money on credit cards just to get by until you land that next job. Con number four, soul crushing. Working 5 days a week for 40 to 50 years can be a daunting thing to think about, and it can play a serious toll on your mental health. You get this feeling of a lack of control over your life, meaningless repetition of days where weeks or months or even years just sort of blend together of the same old day in, day out work. And a poor life balance. You may be working a lot of overtime trying to meet deadlines where you basically have little to no social life outside of the workplace. All these points together paint a pretty compelling picture as to why a typical 9 to 5 can almost feel like a death sentence for some people. Dreading that alarm clock wake up every morning, dragging yourself out of bed into peak hour traffic to stare at a screen for 8 hours, or sweat your ass off working outside in the sun all day. So now that I've pointed out some of the cons, let's look at some of the advantages when it comes to a typical job. Number one, predictable salary. When you have a full-time job, you're pretty much guaranteed a minimum amount that you know is going to hit your bank account every week or month, or however often you get paid, which can make it easy to budget. You don't have to worry about having a bad month or struggling to get cash. This, of course, is assuming you're earning enough to actually cover your bills and save some money. The next positive is that having a full-time job basically forces you into a routine. You'll get up around the same time every day, leave for work, clock in for 8 hours or so, have lunch at the same time, and finish work at the same time every day. Having a set routine can be very beneficial for a lot of people. It can take a lot of stress out of your day to day and sort of let your brain relax a bit because your day is pretty much already decided for you for the majority days of the week. And next positive is the benefits. These can range from health insurance, retirement plans, paid days off, sick days, free training courses or licenses that your work puts you through. You've also got things like fuel allowances, company cars, discounts on certain products or services, just to name a few things. All of these work together as little incentives to sign you up with specific companies, and these can vary quite drastically between job opportunities. Our fourth positive is going to be career advancement and workplace connections. Being employed by a company that backs their employees can be a surefire way to excel your career progression and your salary. Although I feel like these companies or bosses can be hard to find, if you do manage to find one, then you've got yourself in a good position to have opportunities to enhance your skills, relationships, and salary. Work hard and you'll be able to land promotions, bigger projects, and slowly make your way up that corporate ladder if that's what you're seeking. So, these are just a few pros and cons of the modern full-time job. Now, the tough question is, what is actually the right choice for you? Well, I can't tell you, but I think if you really take into account these pros and cons I've outlined in this video, what your passions are in life and your goals, then you should be able to come to a decision. My personal opinion, start off with a part-time or full-time job, just so you have a steady income coming in. That way you have all your bills paid, maybe a bit left over every month to invest financially or invest in yourself to improve your skills to open up more opportunities. And from there, you can slowly start building up a foundation for something you're really passionate about, whether that be starting your own business or just a side hustle to bring in some extra cash. Regardless, I hope this video made you feel a little bit more informed about the pros and cons of a 9 to 5. And if there's anything I've missed or you'd like to add, don't forget to leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video.
All SAM sites here.